Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about what are the best settings for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 on PC. At the moment I have everything on Ultra and I have experimental graphics on. Now my PC isn't the strongest, which is why I wanted to make this video for the lower range stuff. As you can see, this game is running okay even on, you know, experimental for the future hardware and stuff. I have a 2080 for my GPU, so it's not like my computer is that great. But you can see it's still running okay for something that is way out of the range of my PC. So I'm very impressed with that actually, to be fair. But let's go in and look at the settings. Right, so if I take it down to Ultra and just go straight with that, we'll probably see that it's a little bit smoother. So now I've got like an extra 10 FPS. Still running pretty smooth. Like I'm very impressed with this. I don't feel any kind of like drag or anything. It runs, you know, similar to how it runs on my PS5. I can see a couple of frame drops if I like look in a specific way, but all in all, you know, pretty good for Ultra settings. So let's look at what is good for, you know, generally a medium-ish computer. So I'm going to take it down to medium straight away, and then we're going to confirm it, and you can see the difference in graphics isn't that drastic at all. I've now got a good 60 FPS. It's running completely smooth. This feels like a PlayStation. Like completely just does feel like a PlayStation. I'm sure in certain areas where it's a little bit busier, you'll get some more drops. But for instance, the shadows and stuff and the people still look really good quality. So I am very, very excited by that. You know, I'm very happy to get this game out on PC because I've obviously been playing it on PlayStation for a long time. Let's try and hit a few people. See if we get any lag on fighting. Nope, everyone down there is running around just normally, like not... This is actually very impressive. I felt like I'd be lagging a lot more, but medium settings just seems okay. I'm not hitting any of these people, by the way. I'm struggling. Ow. Hey, I got one. So very smooth at 60 frames per second. No drops there where I looked over the edge where there's a lot of busyness going on. It just feels really good, really nice. So I'm going to switch to high, which will probably drop my FPS a little bit. Oh. So I've changed it to high. You can see now that my FPS is down like 40, 50. So there's a little bit of like frame issues here, but still running fairly smooth. Let me just let me get close to them because that's where all the action's happening. So frames still at around 45 FPS. But you can go into advanced settings, graphic settings, and change all the individual things that you need to change. So depending on your PC, you are going to change these obviously to how you want. Vegetation detail seems like it's going to take up a lot of your game, so I'm going to just change that to low. Textures, we want that high. Shaders, I don't think you need to be low. Shader quality can be medium. Everything else at the moment, for me, seems okay on high. So let's just go for confirm here, and you can kind of just see that the FPS is, you know, still around 40, but you know, it just runs a little bit smoother. I'm not getting those kind of like drops when I look in specific ways at specific people. So in general, I feel like having the shadows, shaders down, particles potentially too as well, which is something I'm going to look at. You can see that I'm holding a nice steady 60 frames per second for my medium to low range PC, I would say and suggest. Come on, Dry Devil, get up those stairs, mate. You're taking a while. Fight. Let's get into a fight with these settings. So is it... Oh god, look at all those arrows flying over. Still holding a solid like... Oh, not down the ladder. All right, get over here, mate. I want to fight you. Pow. Pow. Okay, look, no lag, nothing. I'm very happy with it running on those settings that I just put on. Get down there. Ow. And this is a very busy kind of area. So, you know, you're going to be... There's a lot of people here. There's a lot of things happening. The rest of the game is fairly... I don't want to say isolated, but there isn't many huge fights like this where there's a lot of things happening. Cutscenes, 30 frames per second. You don't even notice. Now, skipping forward a bit, I wanted to get to a part where there is vegetation. There is, you know, a whole bunch of stuff on screen that isn't people, but there's like a lot of objects. You can see that the vegetation, the shadows still look pretty good. You can see that it's, you know, not the view distance on my PC isn't great. Like you can see the shadows coming into view over here. That doesn't bother me that much, but you can see that it's not actually that terrible. It still looks pretty good. And I'm assuming that, you know, once you go through these areas once, it's going to be a little bit faster to load the next time. So I still think this looks incredible and great. The water looks nice. But let's change a few settings and see what the differences are like. So I'm going to change just most things down to mediums. I'm going to keep the textures high, and we're going to go down and we're going to change the lighting down to medium and the particles down to medium as well. So we still have object quality high, global illumination high, post-process quality high. Some of these things you can probably turn down as well, but for me, when I was going through the different settings, this was kind of the best case scenario for my PC and how it runs. Obviously as well, you want to go in, and if you can turn VSync on if you want, but you want to go down and you want to change motion blur to off, and you know, leave it at that. Put your FOV up if you want. There's also modes of, you know, upscaling, so you can go to performance instead of quality. You know, I'll show you the difference between those as well. So let's just confirm and go to yes, and then we come out. So you can see that dropped my FPS a little bit to 50, but it still looks really good. It still runs quite smooth. I'm just going to keep agreeing to this guy who's talking to me. Again, you can still see the pop in and the loading in, but you know, where you are in the game, the people you're looking at, the textures, the lighting, the shadows are still really, really good. You're just going to have to deal with like the popping and the loading from a certain distance. But I feel like most of your kind of gameplay is right in front of your eyes. So all that stuff for me just doesn't matter. Right, now let's go and change that to performance. Boom, 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 boom. Save, come out of it. And you can see that now I'm at 60 frames per second with those same settings, and the pop-in is lessened. So, you know, if you want to go full quality, if you got a bigger build, you can. But if you swap to performance, you know, you get a solid 60 frames per second with the settings that we have. Less pop-in and more, the pop-in doesn't seem as like instant from range. It's kind of like gradually building into it. So I think I've found for a medium range PC like mine with a 2080, let's just skip past this, has been this. Oh, I can't even get through the settings. Let's get past this. And now we're in a place where, you know, I'm actually walking around. If I turn around really quickly, you can see that there is a little bit of loading. Bit jarring, you know, when you see that much of a change. When you're coming through on the horse, it was just very gradual going through. So let's go back to settings. Let's just take everything to medium, like when we first loaded it up, and leave it on the performance, boom, 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 and see what that's like on a full medium build. We get a nice straight up 60 frames per second. You're not seeing that pop in anymore. So this is very typical of like a PlayStation 5. You can see the details on the characters are still very, very good. So it is about hitting and tweaking things that you want for your specific build. However, I've found that all medium performance is best for me, with a little bit of tweaks here and there, you know, change certain things to high, certain things to medium, certain things to low. So it really just depends on how you feel about the game and what you want your PC to do. Look at these nice little horses and what your PC is capable of. I do find though that medium in general on performance is really, really good. Just to cover all bases for a medium to low range PC, let's go and put on everything on low. So we're going to go with low with VSync and go in. You might see a big difference here, but for the most part, I think it still looks pretty good even on low. So there we go. This is everything on low. You know, you still get a bit of that pop in when you're turning, but the vegetation still looks pretty good. Let's go over and look at the character in front of me. Boom, still looks pretty good too. Look, doesn't look that much difference from medium. Now I will say my PC, other than having an old GPU, is absolutely rammed full. My C drive, my D drive is completely full. Everything about my PC is in its worst state possible. So I feel like low to medium on the preset settings, and then change to performance, and you know, you can put VSync on if you wish. I'm getting a solid 90 frames per second now with this setup on low, and the only thing you really just need to worry about is pop-in. So that just really depends on you and how you feel about it. So I feel like the actual port for this game, if it's a port, not really a port, but you know, the build for PC actually performs really well. It's just dependent on what you want. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Thank you for watching. I've been Easy. Now you guys have been awesome.